What do you get when you cross a hairless gerbil with no legitimate area of expertise and the business acumen of a vacuous robotic human simulator?
Let's do it!
For fuck's sake, it's like Brittany Dawn and Tyrone the Fitness Addict abandoning their love child in the 8 Mile.
Your love is rated X. That means you're extraordinary.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. We've got another one. We have another would-be fitness guru with a massive outreach disseminating bunk-ass information as if it were fact, and we aim to correct that. Today, we're talking about Remington James Fitness. Remington James is a certified personal trainer and a self-proclaimed expert on fat loss and muscle building. He has a deeply flawed base of knowledge and an unsustainable business practice, which I'm calling right now, guys, is only going to end up the same way that the ill-fated foray into online coaching Brittany Dawn experienced. We're going to break this video down into 2 parts. Part 1, we're going to examine the credentials he says he brings to the table, and don't worry, that won't take long. There's not a lot there. The second part of the video, I'm going to explain exactly why I don't believe he's going to be able to keep the promises that he makes to his clients and why I feel that his business model is unsustainable. Now, what we're not going to talk about is his aspiring music career, because I got to be honest, I don't give a shit if he's the second coming of Eminem with a side of Elvis. It doesn't matter. What matters is he has an outreach of nearly 400,000 people, and he is disseminating incomplete or incorrect information as if it were fact. And as you know, that's just not something we stand for around here. Simply put, RJ does not know what he's talking about, in my opinion, of course. In this video, he goes over his perfect plan for fat loss for females and takes you through 5 meals that he'll have you eat every day that does more to demonstrate his complete lack of understanding of nutrition than it does to inform anybody of, well, anything. But since food and nutrition is supposed to be your jam, RJ, let's dig in.
And then you can't really go wrong with either one of these. If you don't like eggs, you can swap these for 84 grams of a lean red meat. So a lean cut of steak, 84 grams of lean ground beef. You can even do 112 grams of salmon, something along those lines if you want to swap this out. The goal is healthy fats and proteins.
You seem confused because not only are the macro and micronutrient profiles for those foods vastly different, red meat is aggressively heavier on the bad fats side of the scale when compared to fish. I'm not sure if you're aware, but omega-3s and omega-6s are different fatty acids.
Spinach help us get some micronutrients in there.
Micronutrients, absolutely important, and you mention them frequently in your videos, but you never seem to name one, establish what those intake needs might be, or demonstrate how much of those needs are met by the berries or the super green powder that you recommend.
2 scoops of Pure BullFit Pure Aminos, 100 milligrams of caffeine per serving. 2 scoops of this is gonna be the equivalent of a large cup of coffee, and also get those branched chain aminos in your system. That way, while you're fasting, your body is prioritizing fat loss over anything else. So that's just what I do first thing in the morning. If you have trouble with
fucking BCAAs. Look, amino acids have calories. That means they break your fast, particularly the 8 to 13 milligrams that you suggest people take as soon as they get up. That will start the very basic biological process, that 10 to 12 hour window that people have to ideally and optimally digest the food that they ingest. I know there's a lot of confusion out there, and there's a lot of people who are pushing this narrative that BCAAs maintain your fasted state. You're not alone. That's the good news. The bad news is your company is these assholes.
And that adds up to a total of 1,260 calories. The reason I said everything the way I did is because I work with a multitude of clients in training programs, meal plans, things of that nature, and this seems to be probably the optimal starting ratio for just about any female. I wanted to make this as universal as possible.
This right here is probably my biggest problem with the content that he puts out. And he doesn't just say it here. 1,260 calories is not some magic or ideal number of caloric intake for women to take. There's 2 major factors, aside from age, that go into determining your caloric intake. That is your weight and your activity level. And both of those things are absent from his calculations. This is problematic because a 105-pound woman and a 400-pound woman have different caloric needs for surplus or deficit, depending on whether or not they are trying to build lean mass, gain weight, or lose weight. That starting point is determined by your age, your relative lean mass to fat mass, your activity level, and your current weight. None of those things are taken into account because in his experience, 1,260 calories is fine for all women. What he recommends is likely to be ineffective for that 105-pound woman and patently dangerous for a 400-pound woman, particularly without the oversight of a medical professional, which he is not. Okay, so he doesn't know jack shit about nutrition. Let's talk about building muscle then.
The biggest thing that gets in most people's ways when they start the whole fitness lifestyle is they don't really know what to do with the most important component of it, which is the nutrition. It's what you're putting in your body. You want your body to be a Ferrari, you ain't putting regular gasoline in that thing, you gotta put premium. 9.3, baby. When you were
Okay, but you sell if it fits your macro meal plans on your website. If the quality of food is the most important thing, how do you justify eat what you want, I'll make it fit style of meal plans that your entire business is based around?
Now, I'm going into this with a mindset that you're brand new to this, so I'm gonna cover a lot of things that might seem elementary to some of you, but I know.
So you are aware that your audience has limited general knowledge on nutrition. So we're going to talk about micronutrients and macronutrients, intake levels, how to determine those levels, right? Dare I fucking hope?
Never cracked an egg before. It's a pretty simple concept. A bang, a pop. That easy. We're gonna do that 6 times. Now, if you want this to be quick, especially if you're on the go in the morning, make sure you preheat your pan.
Nope.
And look at that, baby. That's a big bowl, but that's a big bowl of gains. You might think you might not be able to eat that, but it's all a mindset. If you buckle down, you can crush that. And apply that mindset to every other meal in this plan, and you'll be well on your way. And this will be your first meal of the day, baby. We're getting in healthy fats from the eggs, and we're getting protein there. Micros in the blueberry.
6 eggs, 2 cups of oatmeal, and 140 grams of berries for everybody, regardless of their starting point. That universal meal plan for that Mr. Universe physique, eh?
Carbs in the form of white rice. You can switch these up. You can do beans, quinoa, other sources, but this is super cheap, and I find white rice just tastes really good. You can do brown if you want, but we're getting enough fiber, we ain't really got to sweat that. And then for vegetables, you got yourself a choice. I would say green beans are the noob's vegetable of choice, because everybody's had green beans if you don't like veggies. I started with these and made them all the time. The important part is getting them in. That way you're getting your micronutrients and you're getting your
Every damn video, and with no explanation of what micronutrients you're getting with these varying foods, or seeming awareness that the profiles of these individual foods are vastly different from each other. Quinoa is an excellent source of vitamins and essential amino acids. Do you know what they are? Not from watching his fucking video.
These parts of the broccoli, the like stem, whatever you want to call it, I don't like them. So normally what I'll do is go in, I normally use scissors, but I'll use my hands right now, why not? And just take the fluffy green head part off, because that's where all the nutrition is.
No, motherfucker, the fluffy part doesn't have all of the nutrition. As with most vegetables, the vitamins and minerals that are contained in them are split amongst its various parts. Vitamin C, iron, calcium, those are all in the stem. You get vitamin A from the fluffy part. What the fuck? RJ, you should not be speaking so comfortably on subjects that you clearly do not have a firm grasp on. The briefest Google search would have cleared up that misconception for you. But you are spreading it to 400,000 people as if it were fact. That's irresponsible.
Now the third meal you're gonna be taking in is technically less of a meal, more of a shake, but still a meal, still nutritious.
Meal 3 is your sponsored product.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Literally no one is fucking surprised.
So as far as what you are allowed to drink, I got a few options here for you. This is what I do personally. My new fave, Coke, 0 sugar. 0 calories, and it tastes like regular Coke. Got a little bit of caffeine in there. Perfect for late night when you want a snack. This is what I've been doing for years now. To not only get my water in, but also recover faster, helps with my fasting, helps your body break down fat instead of muscle for.
What the fuck happened to Ferrari fuel? There's enough sucralose to suck on that table to drown an adult human being. You know that sugar alternatives have an insulin response, right? They're calorie-free, not consequence-free, you dumb motherfucker. And oh look, more of your useless fucking aminos. And now a quick break for our word of the day. Superfluous. Unnecessary, especially in abundance. As in, with adequate protein intake, BCAAs are entirely fucking superfluous to protein synthesis.
So we gotta make sure we get it in. We're gonna do 100 grams of peanut butter. I would assume most people are probably right around my size. Right now I weigh about 170 pounds and I am 5'10".
And we end the day with 100 grams of peanut butter. That's like 600 calories by itself, an enormous amount of fat. And peanuts aren't the greatest source of omega-3s to omega-6s. So what we have here is something he insists is right for most people with absolutely no fucking guidance whatsoever on how to scale it up or down based off of factors that actually matter, like your current weight, your age, and your activity level. Not his opinion that most people are his size, 5'10" and 170 pounds.
Of all those macros, we have micronutrients galore in the form of the blueberries and the green vegetables. Your body's literally getting everything it needs to succeed. And I promise you guys, if you follow this, you will see real results, especially if you're brand new to the gym.
You have soundly demonstrated that you have no idea what those things are, how much people need, or even a rudimentary understanding of what nutrients are found in the foods that you're recommending. It's pretty fucking clear, guys. RJ representing himself as a nutritional expert is disingenuous at best. RJ's business model should look familiar. It's exactly like Brittany Dawn's. He promises individualized meal and workout programs for all of his clients. You eat what you want, you do what you want, and I'll make it fit. He promises constant communication. But that is a logistical nightmare. Not just that, he's already demonstrated he does not know how to individualize. His meal plans are universal. He promises you can eat what you want and he'll make it fit. Well, what if I'm a V Shreds and a Jim Stepani fan? What if all I want to eat is pizza and fucking gummy bears? You gonna make that fit? If it fits your macros is nothing but a short-term gimmick with long-term health consequences. The quality of food does matter. And despite him saying so in his videos, it's not represented in his meal planning. The results begin when you do. That was almost catchy. He promises you individualized plans, access to him and video demonstrations of all of the exercises. And those video demonstrations are probably your first clue that these are cookie-cutter programs and not truly individualized to you. It is difficult enough, as any coach knows, to work with the broad spectrum of capabilities and familiarity that your in-person clients have with different exercise modalities. You have varying levels of range of motion, strength, medical conditions that you have to assess. All of those challenges are exacerbated for an online coach. Do you have 10 clients, 100, 1,000? And you expect us to believe that every time one of them has an issue, you go and film a new video for your massive, extensive library? There is no reasonable way to anticipate the entire breadth of what those exercises and their variations would have to look like in order to provide a complete spectrum of video demonstrations. With 2 YouTube channels, his music aspirations, and an online coaching business, there is not a chance in hell he's had the kind of time to put that kind of library together. Prove me wrong. If you're watching this and you've purchased one of his programs, find others like you and compare. It was years before anybody caught on to what Brittany Dawn was doing. No, guys, at the end of the day, what we have here is someone who made significant progress while using steroids, lost almost all of that progress now that they've come off steroids, and is passing their success while using performance-enhancing drugs off as expertise in muscle building and fat loss. RJ, at the end of the day, your anecdotal experience doesn't mean jack shit. It's not applicable to the average person. The success that you achieved while using synthetic testosterone allowed you the room to do everything wrong, learn nothing, and still have a margin of success. You should have learned something in all of the time that you have been involved in fitness, but you haven't. And that is evidenced by your complete lack of any substantive knowledge in your content now, years later. You can't teach anything because you didn't learn anything. And every time you pass off what works for you as expertise, it is to the discredit of actual professionals who are trying to make a living giving people legitimate knowledge so that they can live longer, better quality lives. To what end? So you can sell some BCAAs and some fucking merch? You have had plenty of time to learn better and have chosen not to. That makes you just another bullshitter. Maybe you should stick to making music, because at least there, when nonsense comes out of your mouth, it doesn't hurt anybody.
They won't understand it. I'm not from this planet. I'ma make it back. I'ma make it back.
Jesus, fuck, no, don't do that either. That's awful. Ugh, shit.
Yeah, baby.